The Dangers of Gift-Giving, an Anthropological View into Zora Neale Hurston's Their Eyes Were Watching God. What is gift-giving? Gift exchange is often seen as an act of generosity, but can be a tool of power and control. The quickoodle potlatch involves giving away or destroying possessions to maintain social order and assert dominance. Giving a gift creates an obligation in a recipient, often leading to cycles of exchange and status competition. The German word for gift translates to poison, showing how gifts can be both a blessing and a burden. This theme is central to Hurston's novel, where gift exchange often masks power struggles. Hurston received financial support from white patrons, particularly Mrs. Rufus Osgood Mason, who funded her anthropological research. The funding allowed her to collect folklore, but came at a cost. Ownership of the material went to Mason. Hurston felt that patronage inhibited her creative talent, as she was bound by obligations to her benefactor. Rather than pursuing general ethology, Hurston used her Guggenheim funds to write Their Eyes Were Watching God, turning the anthropologist's tools on herself. Nanny gifts Janie to Logan in marriage, treating her as property rather than a person, believing security is more valuable than love. Logan offers stability and land, but to Janie, this is a transaction that traps her rather than protects her. The community's refusal to give wedding gifts silently protests Janie's commodification. Though Nanny intends to shield Janie from hardship, her form of protection becomes control, reinforcing the idea that a woman's value is tied to marital security. Janie ultimately rejects this exchange, realizing she owes Logan nothing and refusing to equate marriage with gratitude or obligation. Joe Starks appears to shower Janie with gifts, but ultimately uses them to control her. He gives her material wealth, nice clothes, a home, status, but expects her to conform to his image of a respectable wife. Joe's business transactions also mirror the aggressive nature of gift-giving. He gives Edenville a town, but profits from the land. He buys a mule to set it free, making himself a hero while diminishing its economic value. Janie, trapped in a gilded cage, becomes emotionally drained, taking without giving. Joe's death, rumored to be from poison, reflects the toxicity of his version of gift exchange. Tea Cake initially appears to break the cycle of transactional relationships, but gift-giving still plays a role in his dynamic with Janie. He steals Janie's money and gambles it away, framing it as a way to teach her not to be above the people on the muck. His generosity at a party, paying women to leave, mirrors the aggressive gift-giving seen in the potlatch culture. Despite their love, he ultimately becomes possessive, controlling, and even violent. His death from rabies, turning him into a snarling, biting figure, a wild beast, symbolizes the dangerous nature of gifts that come with unspoken obligations. Phoebe's gift to Janie is food, an act of nourishment and care. Unlike the aggressive gifts seen through the novel, Phoebe's gift fosters genuine connection. Janie reciprocates the gift of storytelling, but only under the condition that Phoebe shares it correctly, preserving its authenticity. The novel itself is structured as a form of cultural gift exchange, demanding that readers recognize its deeper meanings. In Their Eyes Were Watching God, Zora Neale Hurston critiques the dangers of gift-giving through an anthropological lens, revealing how seemingly generous acts function as mechanisms of control, obligation, and power, whether in personal relationships, economic exchanges, or cultural appropriation. An anthropological lens reveals how gift-giving in the novel serves as the mechanism for power and obligation rather than generosity. Janie's journey shows that gifts can create social contracts that entrap rather than liberate. The anthropological perspective shifts the novel's meaning. Instead of reading Their Eyes Were Watching God as a feminist triumph, we see a commentary on economic exchange, power, and cultural ownership. The question arises, does analyzing the novel through an anthropological lens take away from its literary and emotional power? A literary reading often frames Janie's journey as one of personal empowerment, love, self-discovery, emphasizing her growth as an independent woman who finds her voice. However, an anthropological perspective reveals the underlying power dynamics at play in the exchanges between characters, showing that gifts, whether financial, emotional, or material, often come with hidden costs and obligations. This lens complicates the novel's themes. Instead of a straightforward feminist triumph, Jamie's story becomes an exploration of economic and social entrapment, where relationships are shaped by systems of exchange rather than pure affection. The novel also comments on the broader issues of cultural ownership, reflecting Hurston's own struggle with white patronage and the appropriation of Black folklore. While this perspective deepens our understanding of the novel's social critiques, it may reduce the emotional resonance of Janie's journey. Seeing her relationships as transactions rather than purely personal experiences can make her victories feel less like moments of liberation and more like negotiations of power. Ultimately, Their Eyes Were Watching God exists in both spaces, as a deeply personal narrative and as an anthropological study of how gift-giving can function as control. The challenge is to balance these interpretations, recognizing how Hurston weaves both emotional truth and social critique into her storytelling.